This is the Bible of the electrogenic cell. It's not just the best book ever written on the subject, it's the only book ever written on this subject. Brought to you by supporters of Christ.
Okay.
Oh, I know what I'm supposed to do. I know what I'm supposed to do. Good, good thing I have my grocery shopping list. Don't leave home without it.
Nearly bedtime in the UK. What time do you call us? Man, I definitely appreciate the birthday wish. Z in the building. Z was on the private conference. Z was on the conference. We had a conference. We had an annual. So we have an annual powwow. Okay, so let me just start with that. We have an annual powwow for the documentary. So that means it's probably due. I'm probably due to play the documentary. Yeah, I'm probably due to go over the documentary right now. Right? That's probably definitely a thing. I probably need to go over the documentary. Thank you. Haven't seen you on Hotep Jesus. The kick channel is down. I was on there Tuesday. So I don't know what happened. Actually, I know what might have happened. I don't know what happened. I can text him and find out. Chloe. Yeah, I could text him and find out. But I don't know exactly what happened. I know they did a live stream. Let me just be forthcoming. No, I don't have a link. So get my black phone for me. I know they did a live stream because I was trying to watch, I try to keep up with, current events. And they had a video they was doing. The title was, something about Nicki Minaj and Jay-Z. Yeah, it was something about Nicki Minaj and Jay-Z. And I didn't catch on till way late, right? When I got back in. So they were probably somewhere like around the 2-hour mark of the video. And I was in the beginning of the video. And, I had to pause it and unpause it. And, at some point, though, when I unpaused the video, it said that YouTube took the video down because they violated community guidelines. It said YouTube took the video down because they violated community guidelines. So it's possible. I didn't read any deeper into it. Because I know YouTube got a bunch of rules that other platforms don't. But it's possible that if you're saying that to me right now, maybe something happened because of that video. You know, I know that subject is a hot subject, whatever's going on with Jay-Z and Nicki Minaj. Okay, Tika got a link for you. And I am texting Hotep Jesus right now. So if he's not busy or live, he'll hit me back shortly. Oh, maybe it's just in the UK. Okay. All right. Well, we'll figure it out. He'll text me back. You know what I'm saying? He'll text me back and we'll figure it out. No. I just think it's that. I don't think it's YouTube per se, because a lot of people that have been running stories on that Jay-Z, Nicki Minaj thing, they've been having, you know, flags and letters of discontinue, whatever. They've been getting, that's those the entities behind those entities don't want, you know, social media platforms to freely be able to discuss stories associated with, you know. So anyway, we'll figure that out shortly. In the meantime, though, what I was saying was that every year we have a conference put together by some of the ladies. You know, it's a small group, but it's to kind of commemorate, you know, the documentary. And for those of you who have not seen the American Healer documentary, please go to the page, check out the American Healer documentary. It's a few hours, you know, it's definitely, you know, it's definitely a bite to eat, right? But it was powerful in that we got support from, you know, local government up in New York State. They cut a ribbon for us. They invited us in, made it a part of the city's national program. Local program for the city. And, you know, so it was a big deal. I don't think that any other holistic healers have ever had like a mayor, you know. So that was a thing. And it was very transformative for me and some of the people that participated, in terms of, I mean, I can only speak for myself, but and I got to shout out Rob, you know, City Councilman Rob. You know, obviously none of this happens without Rob, but, you know, it was transformative for me in terms of understanding the impact that we could possibly have in people's lives, you know, and just like how far we could possibly go with this. Right now, think about if you got your local government, wherever you are, to take our program and make it a part of, you know, local ordinance, like whatever the regular, I don't know what's going on in the UK. You know, I don't even pretend to know how government's set up there, but, you know, like here in the States, city council members, you know, your mayor, deputy mayor, Think about if you got this to roll out in your city. Think about if you got this into the schools, or if you yourself were going into the schools to teach. This is how we got so far up in New York, because Rob was going into the schools, old folks' homes, like anywhere, and he was, he was doing the missionary work that, like for the next 12 months, I'm kind of challenging everybody to do. Rob is like the blueprint, and he was doing it with no blueprint. He was just passionate about what the information did for him and his mom. Doctors were saying his mom wasn't going to make it. She should go to a hospice. And, we turned that all the way around. So he was on fire, but we didn't have a blueprint. He would have speaking engagements set up, and we would kind of just, he'd hit me up and we'll talk about some key points, and then, boom, he'd just go in there and, and he did that from, his juice bar to the point where he made such an impact with it. He got elected to local office, city councilman, didn't stop there, and it kept going. So every July, we kind of commemorate that and have a little conference call on the Zoom. Now, because I want to use that as a blueprint for everybody to start reaching out daily in your space. We have dialogues like in the new books. I don't know if everybody's up to date with the new books. I know a lot of people struggling to read. People, we're all in different places with the books, right? But the new books have dialogues in the books, depending on the book, but the books have dialogues to help you be able to break the ice with people and very quickly, pique their interest and, create a dialogue where we can start to get people more interested in their health and really inspire people towards inspiration, right? Inspiration's our thing. So we want to inspire people towards inspiration. We don't want to just inspire people to get healthy, right? We want to inspire people to inspiration. We want to inspire people to join us and spread our message, right? Definitely, CMOS. We do ship CMOS overseas to people, and it's still good. So, but I don't know the time. But we definitely have shipped CMOS to people. They are out the gate. Listen, I haven't even started asking for money yet. And today I plan on asking for money. Right? Today I plan on asking for money, or maybe preparing folks to send me some money. Right? So shout out to Bayot for the super chat. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully he's starting the trend. But what I want to do is, and this is going to happen not probably, but this is going to happen whether people send me some money or not. But I do need the support. I want to do a walk. And I was talking to Chase about it, right? Chase was saying that I'm kind of losing it a little bit, but he got my back regardless, right? So here's the conversation I'm having with Chase, right? We're talking about, I'm telling him that, I want to do a walk for heart health. I want to do a walk for heart health and get people to support and donate and buy books and, maybe use that for inspiration. You know what I'm saying? To get more people inspired. And he's like, Dad, we walking, you know, we walk all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So, you know, you want me to film you walking? Yo, I'm ready to just like, you know what I'm saying? You like, would you want me to just film you walking? Right? So I'm like, nah, I'm talking about a real, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm giving them the look, like I'm giving y'all the look right now. I'm like, yo, nah, I'm talking about a real, yeah, I might go on the live stream. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about some old, not necessarily like at the professional level, but maybe like 5 hours or 10 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like some old serious walk type of 20 miles, you know, 25 miles, 30 miles, like a walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. He like, well, Dad, that's a marathon. You know what I'm saying? You can't really do a marathon by yourself. I was like, okay, first of all, it's not a marathon because a marathon is a race. So that means there's competitors and competition. Okay, so this is not a marathon. I'm not in shape to be in a marathon, right? So that's number one. But I'm grown. Yeah, I could do whatever I want to do. I can do whatever I want to do. I'm grown, right? So eventually we throw this idea around. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if I have the sneakers for it. So that's why I was like, I might have to get some expensive sneakers. I might have to get folks to send me some cash apps. Yeah, I might have to get folks to send me some cash apps. He was like, well, Dad, you know, people support marathons all the time. Like if you know, they support for the cause. So, you know, whatever the case may be. So I was like, well, I don't know. I'll mention it to the people and see what happens. You know what I'm saying? See if I get some cash apps. Yeah, not super chats, cash apps for the you know, like if you send me a cash app to help me get some sneakers, I may not need none though. I may be able to rock in my old joints. I'm just, you know, I'm still a little scared. Yeah, that little fracture, like hurting my, you know. I think I'm good though. I think I'm good. You know, I've done everything that I'm supposed to, you know what I'm saying? So that my leg is, you know, but you still have fear in your memory when you have injuries. You know what I'm saying? You still have fear in your memory. So that's another reason why I think I want to do the walk, even just personally, you know what I'm saying? And see how far I can go, how far I could get. I told Chase if we get in trouble, he was like, well, I'm coming if you do it. If you do it, I don't think you should do it. But if you do decide to do it, you know, I'm coming with you. You know, I got your back regardless. You know what I'm saying? So, but I was like, we could always Uber. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we get, you know, 5, 10, 15 miles and, you know, something crazy happens or, you know, my body is like, time to hang it up, we can always take a Uber or Lyft, you know what I'm saying, and head back to the house. You know, we can always tap out. You know what I'm saying? But nah. David Goggins will put you in the emergency room. David Goggins got other things going on. David Goggins will have you in the emergency room. David Goggins is out there on broken feet, broken legs. Me and David Goggins I like David Goggins though. Don't get it twisted. But me and David Goggins got different lifestyles. See, this is that part where I be telling y'all, don't be listening and watching folks on the internet where y'all lifestyles don't really match up. You see what I'm saying? I'm a single dad with 5 little ones that depend solely on me. So I can't pull a David Goggins and doodle on myself and have broken legs and feet. No, like look, Thomas is like, right now, Thomas is like, yo, how long the CMOS gonna take to get to the UK if I order it? I can't have broken legs and broken feet and all. Like I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't have, I got too many people that count on me every day. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I can't yet. At the earliest sign of trouble, I gotta tap out. You know what I'm saying? Like to preserve, so I gotta tap out. But Zelle works. You could do Zelle. People could Zelle me. Yeah, you could Zelle me. MinisterEnQi@gmail.com. MinisterEnQi@gmail.com. You could definitely Zelle me. Because I was looking at sneakers. I didn't realize how expensive sneakers had got. Chase was telling me I'm an old man. You know what I'm saying? He was like, because we was looking for some sneakers for him during his birthday. And I'm like, yo, he was like, Dad, but that was 100 years ago when you was my age. Stop telling me about when you was my age. But yo, sneakers is crazy right now. And I'm saying I'm from the era of $150, $200 sneakers, but the $150, $200 sneakers was still made well. Like they still had ankle support, air bubble, like something to it. You know what I'm saying? Even if it didn't pan out, like the pumps was a thing for a little while, but that didn't pan out. You know what I'm saying? But they thought it was something at the time. Like nowadays, it's like low top, fruity colored, just regular sneakers. And I'm like, these don't even support your, like, what is this? This is terrible right here. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie need to be ashamed of himself. Like, what are you doing, Kyrie? Like, these sneakers is terrible. This is the reason why all these NBA players getting injured, because the sneakers are terrible. And I don't think these guys can mention it. I think they're contractually obligated to silence. So everybody is just watching all these players get injured. And me and Chase having a debate on it in the store. I'm showing, because they got a little section where they got the old school sneakers. They had the old school Kobe's, like the real, like almost like I don't even want to say high top. They was like super high top Kobe's, the old school joints. They had the pennies and Charles Barkley's. They had like a whole little case of old school joints. And then they got all these new school, LaMelos and Kyrie's and just all these new sneakers that they're playing in now. And I'm like, look at all these. The sole is flat. There's no support. There's no extra special cushion. There's no spider webbing or air bubble, or there's nothing to these. You know what I'm saying? And there's no ankle support. I was like, this is the reason why everybody's getting injured right here. This is crazy. He was like, yeah, but look at those sneakers from back in the days. They so big. I was like, yeah, because they supported your foot, which is what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you depend on your feet, as an athlete anyway. So but yeah, so that was the thing. Like the sneakers have gotten a little crazy. Yeah. But I was saying to myself, like, if I'm about to do like 20 or 30 miles, I might need to give me a, you know what I mean? Give me a new, I don't know. Yo, I wouldn't even say Chinese. Yeah, I wouldn't even say Chinese. What we was buying back in the days was Chinese. You know what I'm saying? The Jordans, the Charles Barkley's, the Tim Duncans. These sneakers now look like, it looked like folks is making these on 3D printers, bro. Like it just looks crazy. And the injuries, the injury reports, I don't know. Anyway, Yeah, you gotta have some heavy duty. I mean, I got heavy duty joints just to walk around my regular walk around, and I try to put at least 5 miles a day in. That's my thing. 5 miles a day, 10,000 steps. But that's not at one time. You know what I'm saying? I wake up early, get a mile or two in, middle of the day, get a mile or two in, throughout the evening, the night, then whatever I got, I try to round it off at the end of the night with my dog, right? Because I got to walk my dog anyway. So I try to make sure. Now it's hot out now. So I got to pick my spots with walking the dog. When it's cool out, I can get in all my miles with the dog. But when it's hot out, I can't take her out all day, right? So I got to wait till the nighttime when the sun is down, 10 o'clock, 10:30 or something like that, then I can catch up. But that's not 20 miles or 26 miles, I think it is, something like that. 26 miles to be exact. You know what I'm saying? But I want to do it. I want to do it so that you could do it. Yeah. I want to do it so that you can, at least I feel like I'll be good if I get, if I knock out a good 10, 15 miles, I'll feel good. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to do it on a live stream because I checked my phone battery and it says that my phone should be able to live stream for 16 hours on a full battery. Now, of course, that's probably not exactly the truth, but I'm thinking if I get 8 hours, we good. So yeah, I should be able to put the whole, you know what I'm saying? And maybe I'll turn it off every so often. You know what I'm saying? Turn it off and try to jog a few. Yeah, turn it off and try to jog a few. I'm going to try to keep track of everything on my watch. So I'm going to try to really have a nice official, something officially inspiring so that you can, because I feel like if we watch David Goggins is inspiring, but he's the same type of inspiring. And I watch David Goggins, you know what I'm saying? But he's the same type of inspiring as watching Chris Bumstead. Chris Bumstead is a 5-time Mr. Olympia super bodybuilder, whatever. And he's inspiring, right? I'll turn on some Chris Bumstead and get into a workout or whatever. But, it's like Chris Bumstead is on steroids. He's already super pumped and that's his lifestyle. David Goggins is a Marine, Army, Ranger, blah, blah. Sometimes you need to just see a regular person like you. I'm not in any special condition. Yeah, I know I was super fat. I'm trying to lose some weight. I done lost a few pounds, so I'm not as bad as I was looking while my leg was broken. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm regular Joe. I'm like you. I'm trying to work, figure it out, take care of my babies. So I feel like if I could do it, that'll take some of the room for excuse that you have. Because a lot of y'all at home, I've come to find out, y'all are watching and people are not necessarily performing, right? People are watching and they're not necessarily performing, right? People aren't doing their prayers. People aren't doing their little 60-second. And so the idea is this. Even if you can't do 60 push-ups in 60 seconds, the idea is to do as many push-ups as you can do in 60 seconds. So even if you can only do 12, 8, if you can only do 8 push-ups in a minute, all right, cool. If you do that 8 push-ups, in a few days or maybe a week, you'll get up to 10 or 12. Yeah. In a month, you'll be up to 15 or 20 per minute. By the time 6 months goes by, you'll be over 40. You can get over 40 push-ups in a minute, you straight. Yeah, at that point, everything is gravy, right? 60 is the goal, but as long as you can get over 40, you Gucci, right? You get all of the benefits of the cardiovascular disease risk factors, and you get all of those benefits, as long as you can do over 40. Right? You see how the chat get quiet when I start talking about people not doing their exercise? Oh my goodness, the chat get quiet. The chat get quiet. And so I feel like, you know, that we need to, you know, folks need to see something. You know, they need to see something. And like, come on, you know, we see you got the what you call on there, but no. Right. So, but yeah, that's what I think. I think that we need to have that to share, right? We need to have that to share. And so I have to start off with self-sacrifice, right? Because I'm asking y'all to sacrifice. So I have to, you know, I have to start off some point. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to live stream the whole thing, but I don't want to look goofy. Like, I mean, I'm going to look goofy to some extent. Like, I hate it myself. It might just be a pet peeve of mine, because I see other people do it on YouTube and they cool with it. But they be walking and holding their phone, and the phone be bouncing, and the live stream just look weird. You know what I'm saying? I never really liked those type of videos. So I used to do it on Instagram when I go walking around the neighborhood. I would have my Instagram live, but the videos just never looked good enough for my personal taste to put, you know, to do anything with. So I know to some extent me, and I'm gonna be tired probably, you know what I'm saying? Not initially, but at some point I'm gonna get tired. So yeah, I know that it might get goofy. It might be bouncy or whatever the case may be, but I'll just turn it off. Like, we'll stream and then I'll turn it off periodically, because I do want to try to run some. And I know it's going to be in me to try to run. You know what I'm saying? Even though I can't really run that much, but I'm going to do. Yeah. It's going to be, I'm still competitive. Like, I'm from 158th Street in the Bronx. So I'm competitive. That's why I'm saying I probably need some stronger sneakers, because I know for my safety purpose, safety wise, trying to do 20 miles, like, I need to be walking. You know what I'm saying? I like, you know, the CMOS is working, my knees is all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, my injuries all right, you know, but there's limits, you know what I'm saying? But your mind doesn't have limits. This is how people get injured. Your mind is not a physical thing. So your mind doesn't have physical limitations. So your mind will tell you to do things that you're behind, right? Yeah, your behind may not fully be able to, you know what I mean? Your mouth will write a check. You know what I'm saying? You know, so, but I know there's going to be some spots where I want to run or at least jog a little bit. So I'll probably just turn it off and chuck it, because I looked on the Google Maps, and it says that it's going to take 10 hours and 18 minutes for me to walk 26.2 miles. Now, I don't know whose legs they calculated that by. So in my mind, off the rip, I was like, okay, yeah, so this could be 8 hours and 18 minutes, or this could be like 13 hours. I don't know whose legs and what speed Google, because it's not calculating off me. That's a random calculation. So I don't know if they calculating granny legs or they calculating Ironman triathlon legs. Like, I don't know whose leg, but the Google Map said it's going to be 5 hours and 9 minutes for each direction, 13 miles, 13.1 miles. So it's going to take 5 hours and 9 minutes. So in my mind, I feel like if I run some, you know what I'm saying? Like I can, you know what I mean? Like I can knock that down. Yeah, I can knock that, or at least power walk. You know, I can at least power walk and, you know, do something with the power walking. Like I could at least power walk and get the hours down. You know, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? I told Chase, you seen what happened on the basketball court. So I might get greedy. You know, I might knock this little 26 miles out, and then I might have my mind set on like a little 40 piece, you know, like, yeah, because I know how my mind works. You know, whatever I do, whether it's 10 or 50, even if I just do half, you know, I know that I'm going to want to go back and do, you know, the full 26. Or if I do 26, I know I'm going to want to do 35, 40. Like I might be talking a little crazy. You know, I might be talking a little reckless afterwards, a little, you know, I might be feeling myself, you know, so yeah. Okay, so you doing the full 10, so that's 5 miles. Yeah, that's 5 miles. 10,000 steps is 5 miles. For the people that don't know, 10,000 steps is 5 miles. So it would be interesting if you knocking out 10,000 all straight at 7 a.m. You should start timing yourself to get better. Because that's how you do it in levels, right? The first thing you do, like if you have a certain amount, like with steps, 10,000 steps, you just try to take your time. You know, you don't want to rush, get no injuries. Don't let me talk crazy, you know, but take your time to get to your number, right? Some people, 1,000 steps is all they could do. Some people, 5,000, 6,000, whatever. Take your time to get to 10. Then once you get to the 10, start timing yourself to see if you can, you know, just slowly but surely still, you know, like, but try to get your 10 a little faster. So if it takes you an hour or if it takes you 30 minutes, you know, whatever it is, it takes you to get 10,000. 10,000 steps is nothing to sneeze at. That's 5 miles, right? That is 5 miles, right? The fastest woman in the world tried to get, she's just over 4 minutes a mile, right? 4 minutes in a mile. So, you know, it may take average person 15, 20 minutes a mile. So 5 minutes, you know, 5 miles, it might take an hour and some change to get 5 miles. But yeah, I would say start timing it and see how you can improve on your time. Yeah. I don't know. Listen, Paul, I don't know what happened. Thomas said, I don't know what happened. Thomas, let me see if Hotep didn't text me back. Let me see. HJ ain't text me back yet. Oh, yeah, he said it's up. So he good. He said it's up. So we good. The channel is up over there on Kicks. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. But you know we be hot, Paul. You know sometimes we be hot. The notifications don't be going out like they supposed to and all that. You know, yeah, you know we be hot. Notifications don't be going out like they supposed to. That's why the numbers looking. That's why the numbers looking a little. You know, maybe YouTube is angry with me because a lot of the views is going to Twitter now. Yeah, maybe YouTube is upset with me because, you know, we got a lot of people watching on Twitter. In fact, we have more people watching on Twitter than we do on YouTube. Yeah, we have more people watching on Twitter than on YouTube out the gate. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely think that's because of HJ. That's definitely Hotepistan strong over there. Yeah, that's Hotepistan strong over there. Hotepistan is, if we had to find a location, Hotepistan definitely lives in like Twitter. So yeah, that's definitely Hotepistan repping hard. But we get more views on Twitter for these videos than we do on YouTube. Oh, you know, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Yeah, I do not know. How, because let me say this. I don't know because nobody has ever asked me that question. I don't even know that that's a thing, to be honest with you. So you know, you might be the first person that I know that's on a high yeast intake for protein. Yeah, I don't even know what form of yeast. You might be troll. You must be trolling. I've never heard of this. I never heard of this. So yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't even know of a high protein source of yeast. You know, like I wouldn't even recommend thus far. Let me say that I'm always open to new ideas, you know, finding out that maybe I could have been wrong about something or whatever the case may be. My mind's always open, but thus far right now, I'm not even a fan of yeast like that. You know, like if it's a part of something, you know, that's one thing. But like, I'm not one of those people that's like go out and buy nutritional yeast or like, I'm not into none of that. I'm not into kombucha. So none of that will come from this camp. So I'm not even aware of a yeast product that is high protein that you would like supplement the yeast. Oh, high protein bread and buns. Ah, okay. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, I don't think that's the same. Yeah, I don't think that's the same. I think you worded that maybe incorrectly. I don't think that's the same. Yeah, I don't think that I don't think the as I've had some of those breads and I don't think that the protein in the bread is coming from the yeast. yeah, I think they're adding, adding protein to their mixture to create the high protein, even though it's definitely yeast in the bread, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think it's the yeast that is supplying the protein. I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a person, like, I've tasted them just because they're out there. And I try to try, most of the health foods that's out there. So if conversation pops up, I can speak to some degree of experience. But no, when it comes to bread, I try to pick bread based on fiber to sugar ratio. Right? That's my safety guidelines, because I know for me, I got a ball within a budget. A lot of those high protein breads is like $6 a loaf of bread. For me, I got a ball on the budget. Yeah, I got a ball on the budget. So for me, it's mostly about picking bread is about fiber to sugar. Like the higher the ratio of fiber to the sugar, the better the bread. Right? If you can get 3 or 4 grams of fiber per 1 gram of sugar, you good. You Gucci. If you can get 2 grams of fiber for 1 gram of sugar, or for each gram, if you can get 2 grams of fiber for every gram of sugar, decent. But if it's lopsided, it don't matter what it is, because there's some breads that are like $4 or $5 a loaf, and they have more sugar than fiber. I'm like, no, this is crazy. They should be arrested for even calling this like a health, like they should. Yeah, it's crazy. But that is the main metric that I look at in the supermarket for bread. Yeah, I look at the fiber to the sugar ratio. Yeah, I think they use whey protein, or maybe some other type of powders that they may add to their formula. I don't necessarily know of a high protein yeast. I'm not a big fan of Ezekiel bread, though. I used to do a lot of Ezekiel bread when Ezekiel bread first came out, because they was like the only game in town. You know what I'm saying? They was the only game in town, for sprouted bread. You know what I'm saying? Which is good. Like, Ezekiel bread is good. Like, don't get it twisted, but I just, now that they've been around so long, there are other breads, there's other sprouted breads that are just as good, that you might be able to save like $1 or $2 on. So there's nothing wrong with Ezekiel bread. It's just, now that there's competition, you might be able to save a couple of bucks on Ezekiel bread. Jehudi, Peyton. Yeah, in the beginning of the algorithm, that's Jehudi, Africa, and Sabi. I like sourdough bread. I'm a fan of sourdough bread, even though you got to be careful with the sourdough bread. Like, so that's the thing. That's why, like I said, I look at fiber and sugar, right? I look at fiber and sugar, because a type of bread doesn't necessarily, like, you still got to, brands still do different stuff. So you can get 10 different types of sourdough bread, and the sugar fiber ratio might be different in all of them, right? You can get 10 different types of high protein. The fiber and sugar ratio will be different in all of them. You can get 10 different types of sprouted bread, and the fiber to sugar ratio will be different in all of them. And then some bread companies have different types of bread. I think Ezekiel has like 5 or 10 different types of bread. So, like, they've gotten to variety now where they specialize. So some may have better fiber to sugar ratios than others. But that's the most important thing for me, when I'm looking at bread, is the fiber to sugar ratio. Yeah, because that's what's going to determine how fast and how much of that bread just turns into cotton candy. Bread is cotton candy without the taste. Just so you know, overall, bread is cotton candy without the sweet taste. So the amount of fiber that you have in the bread really determines how your body's going to process it. Unless you have a high fiber bread, a high protein bread. If you have a high protein bread, the protein will help buffer, the sugar spike to some extent, but that's an add-on. That's not a natural, that's not bread. That's something that they're adding into the recipe, right? But fiber is absolutely a part of bread, and natural bread is supposed to be a fiberlicious type of thing. Bread is supposed to be something that you can treat your microbiome with. So I grew up, right? And I got a lot of other stuff to talk about. We're supposed to be talking about, but bread, I guess, is always a thing because a lot of folks are addicted to bread. But I grew up in the era of, white, anti-white. Like that's how everything was when I was young, trying to get healthy, right? Because the health movement was coupled next to the conscious movement, and the conscious movement was with the Black militant movement. Like it was all one thing packaged together. Later on, when I came in, I came with science that didn't really exist in the same way before me. Dr. Africa had some stuff and it was some guys, but it was just different. It was different. You know what I'm saying? So typically it was just anti-white was, like the first step towards getting healthy was no white bread, no white rice, no white milk. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the blueprint. Right. So, and obviously people had benefits with that because white rice is the highest, the quickest to convert to sugar. White bread is the quickest to convert to sugar. White milk, kind of different, but still it has other issues, but, quickest to raise up your blood sugar. So all of those things immediately, of course, if you cut them out, have a benefit. It just my mind, the way my mind is, set up, like Kevin Hart say, the way my checking account set, the way my mind is set up, I always want to know more. I want to know why, and then so, I've been on long adventures figuring out whys, and that's always been like a thing for me. Wise is wise, right? It's wise to figure out whys. So, but yeah, it wouldn't be long before I figured out that, bread is not supposed to be intrinsically unhealthy for you. Bread is actually supposed to be a healthy thing for you to have. Within reason, but bread is supposed to be a healthy thing. That's why our ancients, whether you go back to the Bible, the Quran, or you go all the way back to Kemet, bread was a thing. They was thanking God for bread. Like bread was a blessing from, you know what I'm saying? Like, so pause for the cause. We definitely want to appreciate the super chat from High Frequency TV. But yeah, bread was always supposed to be a nutritious thing. So it wouldn't be long before I figured out the problem was not bread, wasn't the bread recipe. It was the fact that big business was separating the pigment and the fiber, stripping the pigment and the fiber from the plants before they made the bread. So they take all of the good stuff out, and then when you take the pigment and the fiber, you take a lot of the minerals and the vitamins, and it makes more money, right? But it doesn't make for better customers. Like, it doesn't make the customer healthier, right? But it does make more money because I can strip the plant down and sell you each thing individually, right? I can strip the plant and then I can sell you this bread, right? Then because this bread is missing the fiber and the pigment, I can sell you, a bottle of B vitamins, even though the B vitamins are supposed to be in the husk of this, it's supposed to be in the part of this plant that we're stripping. But now I can sell you the bread. That's one product from these plants. Then I can sell you the B vitamins. Then I can sell you a box of fiber separately. So now that's 3 different products. And then I could turn around and sell you a bottle of antioxidants. So instead of me just selling you bread that has the vitamins, the fiber, the antioxidants, and all of those good things in there, I can sell you the bread for your taste or your stomach, whatever the case may be. Then I can sell you the vitamins separate, the minerals separate, the antioxidants separate, and the fiber separate, and make 4 or 5 different products to offer you, as a company, as opposed to just selling you a food item that has all those things built in. And that's the reason why our ancestors, that's the reason why today bread is referenced as a do not have. Bread is on, it doesn't matter what diet plan you on, bread is on the do not eat list, period. Every single diet has bread. High protein, high fat, no carb, low carb, all carb, fruit diet. Bread is off the list. The reason being, where bread used to be, top of the list, bread is off the list now because bread is stripped down of all its natural qualities. So I was already big though. Well, it depends on, like I said, listen, it depends on, when you say yeast, right? You got to be specific than just saying yeast, right? For most people, bread is the largest source of yeast in people's diet, right? And typically, I found out this too, because mind you, I come from the school, and maybe that's why, I've been able to be around so long, because I was raised in this. So it's not just stuff that I researched. I was raised in it. I experienced it, like from a lot of different perspectives. So this is not just book stuff. And that's probably why it's so easy for me to write books, because I have so much book knowledge, but also so much experience from different perspectives. But like I said, early on, I was a part of that dynamic. I was a part of that learning, where it was, no white bread. Whoop. Then later on, it just became no bread at all, right? And I learned that there was other issues. As I studied more and studied more and studied more, I just learned more. So most of the time, people get a benefit. So here's the thing. Selling stuff always requires you to sound like an authority, right? So if you come up with some science and you market a thing, right? And the thing works, nobody questions the science. If you drop some science and say, yes, so buy this or try this, and people try it, they buy it, they wear it, they eat it, whatever, and they get good results from it, immediately it's natural to assume that the reason why the thing you suggested worked is because your explanation of it was correct. I think it's a part of my ignorance. Yeah, because I still, I'm still like, to an extent, I'm still an ignorant guy from the Bronx. And that's what drives me to learn more and more and more and stay a student, as opposed to like I get honor from people learning from me, but I always see myself as a student, and I'm always, like learning every day, like that's my thing, learning more every day. Right. But yeah, I don't accept stuff like that. My mind just isn't wired that way. I don't accept stuff that way. So I just keep on studying. And so even though, a lot of people, especially when I was in just like my personal trainer phase, everybody was having success with that. Once you cut the bread, like it's a serious addiction people have. So it, it's like a mark of discipline. People have the ability to cut bread. They have the ability to cut other things. So that's one reason why people see, such improvement when they cut bread, because usually they've cut other things with cutting bread, especially a lot of condiments, because with bread comes a lot of Miracle Whip and mayo and this and that and the other. And, like a lot of, butter, and there's a lot of things that come with bread. So you cut the bread, you immediately cut those other things without even thinking about it. But the biggest problem that I found with bread was not bread itself, is that people were iodine deficient. And that people got just as good of results by boosting their daily intake of iodine, whether they was cutting the bread or not. Yeah, whether they cut the bread or not. Like that's a hidden thing. That's a hidden thing. Is that bromine that they use in bread depletes your thyroid. It just is like an antagonist to your body's iodine stores. So it's also an antagonist to your T3 and T4 levels. Yeah, so it drastically slows down your metabolism, and it keeps you putting on weight, or it stops you from losing weight. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, that's not something you would learn just on the surface level unless you keep on going, because for the most part, if you hear about, just cutting bread, you cut bread, it works. You just go with like, okay, well, yeah, it must have been because I cut the yeast out and blah, blah, blah. But typically yeast don't really make you fat. Yeast don't make you fat. The reason why I support cutting yeast out of the diet, and I'm not a fan of yeast, is because it's yeast. Like, it's yeast. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on with folks? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's yeast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think we need a good explanation to cut yeast out of our diet. Like, yeah, it's yeast. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I get, and I eat stuff with yeast in it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a yeast person though. I'm not, like I said, no kombucha products and no, I'm not a big fermented, like I'm not into a bunch of that stuff. But, yeast can create background inflammation, support candida, and, yeast, too much yeast is problematic on its own, but it's not necessarily a fat thing. What I found most impactful with bread is those two issues, right? Those two issues is you got a lot of breads that's high sugar, low fiber. High sugar, low fiber, which is a problem because bread metabolizes like this. So it boosts up your blood sugar. And in order to keep your blood sugar remotely balanced, if you're not burning it, your body will pack it away into fat cells. That's number one. Number two, a lot of these places, they use, a lot of bromine products in their bread. And the bromine, is an antagonist for iodine T3, T4, which drastically slows your metabolism down. So when you put those things together, think about the impact of that, right? High sugar, low fiber, plus it's getting ready to flush your iodine, like the thing that makes your metabolism go, right? That's the recipe for fat right there. That's the recipe for fat, but that's not necessarily intrinsic of bread. That's because we don't have, we're not on, right? But so I don't have that issue. So that's why, I guess in the beginning, I wasn't even really thinking about the bromine and the iodine thing because I'm on that blue magic, right? So my household, we iodined up. We that's not an issue here. So we're not worried about that part. We had bromine in the way. You know what I'm saying? We're not worried about how much bromine they put in the bread necessarily because we're good. We're gonna have enough we're gonna have enough sea vegetables and so we blue magicked up. We're Gucci on that end. You know what I'm saying? But I do flip over the pack and look at the ingredients specifically. Like if I'm buying the same old thing, then I already know it's going to be 3-to-1 or 2-to-1. But if I'm buying a new brand or if I see something on sale and I want to try like a new bread because it's on sale, clearance or reduced price or whatever, that's what I'll check to see if it's, kosher or not for me, is what the fiber is. But those are the two main issues with bread: bromine and fiber and sugar. No, the yeast is everywhere. Yeast is everywhere because what it does is, so companies use it because it multiplies the product. It multiplies the product, and in your brain, it helps hit the temporary satiety. So it's a good, yeast is very good for companies to add to their food. It's very deceptive to you though, as the customer, because it makes you believe there's more, right? So in terms of their ingredients, they can put this much ingredients in and have this much product because the yeast is going, right? The yeast is going to blow it up, right? But then also when you consume stuff, with yeast or bread, like people eat bread to get full, you know what I'm saying? Like they'll have a few slices on the side of their meal just to get the full feeling. So it's a great additive for companies that way. But it's not necessarily the boogeyman in terms of fat. It's definitely the boogeyman in terms of candida though. You know what I'm saying? And if you have any types of complications with eczema, allergies, recurrent infections or anything like that, anything, you need to cut yeast out all the way. You need to go on to yeast and dairy. Like anytime you have any problem with one of the three, the 1, 2, 3. We haven't talked about the 1, 2, 3 in a minute, but the 1, 2, 3 is bacteria, yeast, and yeast is also fungus. So fungus and yeast, when we use those terms, they're interchangeable. But anytime you have any issue with the 1, 2, 3, which is bacteria, yeast, and or fungus, and viruses. So virus is one category, bacteria is another category, and then yeast and fungus share a category. Anytime you have a problem with any of those three, you need to cut out all three. Yeah, anytime you have a problem with any of those three, you need to cut out all three. So I'm not I'm not anti-mushroom, but if I have something going on, mushrooms is out. Mushrooms is out. All dairy, all things that contain dairy, all anything, right? Including meat, because I look at meat as virus. So I'm just saying, if you have anything going on with infection or whatever, If you ask me, I'm going to say you need to stop eating meat for a little while because meat is virus. You're like, wait, what meat is virus? All meat is virus. All meat, all edible meats, animals that people eat, all edible meats are considered by Dr. EnQi to be 100% virus. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because the simplest definition for a virus is foreign DNA or foreign RNA. Which would make any type of beef, fish, chicken, all of it is foreign genetic material, right? And so it may or may not lean on your HLA system. It may or may not cause your HLA system to work harder. So for me, it's just like, nah, you need to cut that out. All of them. Yeah. All of them, especially if you got the Melanin vs. Diabetes books. If you got the Melanin vs. Diabetes book, book 3 is primarily geared like direct. Actually, books 2 and 3 are geared directly towards that. But the whole idea is that's not really that hard to do. If that's what you're trying to do, it's not really that hard to do. You just got to get into the habits, right? You got to get into the habits, you know, and the whole habit is the number one most important habit is creating a calorie system based on your personal exercise and movement per day, you know, and your thing. When I say exercise, that also includes thinking, your mind, how much you're using your brain, like just making sure that you're not consuming more protein than you need. You're not consuming more carbs than you need. You're not consuming more fat than you need. Like, that's it. That's all. And then testosterone is more about making sure that you watch your cortisol level, right? Your emotions and your stress level have more impact on your cortisol level than any food that you can eat. Period. You know, you got all kind of YouTube videos that tell you, oh, watch this food because it boosts your cortisol, and that food and this food. Your emotions and your stress have much more to do with your cortisol level than anything you can eat, right? So I would say that's a big thing. And then probably just keeping your daily rhythm. Like, that's important. Keeping your daily rhythm, not tricking your body. You know, like staying within whatever that calorie number is and staying within that exercise range. So I would say like calisthenics 3 times a week and cardio. I would say probably to do something, whatever you need to be working 7 days a week. You need to exercise every day. 3 times a week is not it. Yeah, you need to exercise every day. If you eat every day, you need to poop every day and you need to exercise every day. So I don't know what the what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why we have the prayer. So if you're doing your prayers every day and you at least getting in, like if you're doing those minimum amount of exercises a couple of times a day, 2, 3, 4 times a day, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. And then you're doing, like a set thing 3 or 4 times a week, that might do it. That might be decent. But if you eat every day, you need to be exercising every day. And I don't know what your lifestyle is, what your job is, what you do, what you do for a living and all that. So I don't know what your daily workload is, but that is the thing with maintaining whatever your body fat percentage is. You need to be electrifying. Yeah, you need to be electrifying. You need to be electrogenic. You need to be creating more current than insulation. Yeah, you need to be producing more electricity than fat. Yeah, yep. And the black book, the book with the skull on it. You know what I'm saying? Both of those books is going to take, but the fiscal edition book, it has a nice small little chapter. Those are small, quick, easy reads. But the fiscal edition book has a chapter on building your program, building your daily program, and just gives you the basics, like this many reps and put it together like this. And like, so yeah, it'll give you a nice outline. It'll help you create a nice outline for yourself. No, the RDA of anything is not a good barometer. You might as well throw all them RDAs out. Cardio definitely counts as exercise. Walking counts as exercise. Having sex counts as exercise. All of those things count as exercise. Yeah. Everything you do counts as exercise, except for like sitting down. Like sitting down is not exercise. You know what I'm saying? But if anytime you're walking or you active, you know what I'm saying? That's exercise. Yeah, anything that causes your heart to push more blood is exercise. That's the whole center of everything. It's what your heart's doing. So anything that causes your heart to push more blood, to push more oxygen, is exercise. Yeah. So, but here's the thing. Here, if you want to go crazy, right? The Declaration of Independence. Now we go all the way. We go all the way in down through the rabbit hole with this book in terms of exercise, epigenetics, silencing genes, mobilizing fat. Like as from losing 5 pounds all the way up to writing a PhD level thesis, we cover on exercise in this book. Yeah, so this is that. Like, the fiscal edition is kind of like the basics, is going to give you the outline to how to put together a decent workout program, but this is our kinesiology text right here. This is our kinesiology textbook, right? So this exists. You know what I'm saying? This exists. Yeah. That's the kinesiology textbook. And I think it's the only thing on Amazon that said that's electric kinesiology chemistry. Like I don't think there's any I don't think that there's any other text on Amazon in that category. I think it's a one of one. Yeah, because we totally addressed kinesiology in a totally different, we went somewhere totally different with kinesiology. And of course, we got a bunch of different articles and so it's thorough. It's thorough. I've had some folks with 4 and 6 year like degrees in kinesiology that was like, man, I gotta tap out. Like that was tough. That was tough right there. Like that wasn't I learned like that was tough. You know what I'm saying? So it's at all levels you can learn a lot from that book. Yeah, at all levels you can learn a lot from that book. Listen, we inspired a lot of people, right? A part of my reason for choosing inspiration is not just the term, but we've been doing it for so long. I just have to embrace what I do, right? We've inspired lots of people to steal the drip. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, we might as well embrace it and just continue to inspire people, right? And continue to inspire people. In fact, I wanted to talk to y'all about, we over an hour in. I wanted to talk to y'all about these 2 books. We didn't even get into it though. I wanted to talk to y'all about these 2 books specifically because I got questions on them. Now, this right here, The American Healer Files, Volume 1. National treasure. This book is a national treasure. Right? This book is a national treasure. This is our periodic table of ions book. This is that book. The periodic table of ions. Like everybody loves that video. I'm getting rave reviews for the periodic table of ions video. Like, yo, when you coming back with part 2? I'm coming back maybe with part 2 when more people have read the book. I try to give people time to assimilate the information. Right? But we have different sections in the book, or chapters, if you will, that go through ions and filaments with popular disease metric. Right? So we have diabetes, dementia, Alzheimer's, cardiovascular, autoimmune, cancer, but insulin signaling, but from strictly an electrical perspective inside your body, right? Because we got books on all of those things already, but this is just purely about electrical wiring inside your body. So yeah, so we kind of, then of course, I did the color. This book is color. Yeah. So this book is color. The pictures in this book are color. You know what I'm saying? So we went a little crazy. I wanted to test test Amazon with this book because they had announced a price change, right? They were making it less expensive for people with larger books or color books and more expensive for people to make smaller books. So the new book I dropped, the small book, you know, like people want to have a book that they can give, they can afford to give away, because you can't really afford to give away your $30 or $40 books, right? So I made a book that's like $6.60. Now, before I probably would have been able to make it like $5 or even, you know, something, but Amazon raised their print costs for small books. So that's the lowest I could have made it. But they lowered the, you know, the larger books and the color stuff. So I did this to test the waters in terms of, to see what, you know, to see what I can get away with, in terms of having a color book with color illustrations and pictures, and it wasn't that bad. It was pretty affordable. It was pretty affordable, right? But yeah, so we will be doing another, you know, we'll be doing some more periodic table of ions. I did take the 200 questions and put it in a book, right? I put it in the book with a bunch of other stuff to it, you know, so I have a whole section of books that are just study guides. So we created some study guides. You know what I'm saying? We created some study guides. Let me see if I can pull up some, what I'm talking about. Okay. Let's hit the share button. So these are all study guides, right? You got a study guide. For the codex, right? That's this. And then you have a study guide for, you know, some of the other hand-picked books that go along with particular certifications, right? So you got 5 different study guides so far. Then we have this book here, which is a part of the Rich Abs universe, right? Which is almost a study guide. It's almost a study guide. It's not attached to any specific certification, but it does have a bunch of dialogues in it to help have the conversation, which is the main thing that we need to be pressing forward with. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have enough information to study for ourselves, but once we get the idea of what real wealth is, and how much a blessing this information for us to have, even for us, you know, whether you just got introduced to the channel, like, we have to pay it forward. We have to pay it forward. And that's one of the things that's important about just having that yearly conference call to commemorate the documentary and what we did. I don't think about it as my work. When we think about the documentary, I think about Rob's work, because if it wasn't for Rob, obviously, you know, but if it wasn't for Rob doing all he did, you know, I wouldn't even thought about putting a documentary together, and it definitely wouldn't have been, like a mayor, like a city government would have not been involved with, like promoting it. So for me, it's always a moment to take stock of the previous 12 months in terms of what we've been able to build, and then think about what we need to be more effective and get the word out for the next 12 months, right? So that when we check back in 12 months from now, right, we see progress. And I think that creating this massive library was an undertaking in and of itself. Like we almost, rebuilt the Library of Alexandria. Single-handedly, like we put the papyri back intact, single-handedly, not single-handedly, but us as a collective, like we done built a massive library, and we still going with the library. But I think at this point, we have enough of a library to where we can start to maybe take a page from the Jehovah's Witness, or take a page from the Hebrew Israelites. Like we have to become more like the Hebrew Israelites and the Jehovah's Witness. And what I mean by that is, and I want to say this as respectfully as possible, right? But the Hebrew Israelites don't have 1% of the amount of information that we have. Respectfully. The Jehovah's Witnesses don't have 1% of the amount of information that we have. Right? But here's the difference. Every single day somewhere, there are Jehovah's Witnesses out promoting their program. Right? You have them other folks. The Mormons, right? You have the Mormons out there promoting their stuff, right? That's in the suburbs. Every corner of the suburbs, there are Mormons and Jehovah's Witnesses out aggressively promoting their message, right? In the prison system, you have the 5%ers, right? They're out in the prison system aggressively promoting their program. In the hood, in the city, in the urban setting, right? You have the Hebrew Israelites. They're somewhere on the corner yelling at people, right? And none of these groups have 1% of the information that we have. None of them have 1% of the amount of potential to impact lives in a positive way as we have. Right. And that's with all due respect. And that's not me being arrogant or anything. That's me doing this for 20 years and getting Christians, Catholics, Muslims, pro whatever, militant, this, Hebrew Israelite, that, woo, like, what is that? The red, black, and like, that's me getting everybody at their last stage of kidney failure, their last stages of cancer, or this or that or the other, erectile dysfunction, whatever it is, coming. So I know what they have and what they don't have. You know what I'm saying? I know what they have and what they don't have. So they don't have even like an inkling of what we have. And although you might be at home thinking, yeah, but ink, I don't know how to explain it like you know how to explain it. Right? That's why we have dialogues in some of the new books so that you can practice. Right? So that you can practice, so that you can learn how. And then we have this book here. Not this book, but hold on, let's go back. We have this book. This is the book I was talking about, $6. Oh, look at this. #1 new release in ab workouts. Now, I didn't even know ab workouts was a thing. That's crazy. #1 new release in ab workouts. Yo, that's crazy. Look at that. I got 2 books in the top 10. Oh, wait a minute. I got 3 books in the top 10 over here. Look at this. Poor Abs, The Journal, and we haven't even went through this book yet. This book is tough. Then we got, that's crazy. Part 1 and part 2 is both in top 10. I didn't even know this was a category of books. That's kind of epic. That's tough. So that goes back to the question earlier. Bro was asking me like, what's good for low body fat? clearly Amazon thinks that these books right here are good for that. But yeah, this is the book I was saying, $6.60. So that way, because all of us have done it. All of us have done it. If you haven't done it, that just means you're a horrible human. No, I'm just kidding. But that just means that you haven't really started talking to people yet. But once you start talking to people, you're going to give people books. That's just how it goes. You're going to give them books. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was giving people books before I had books. I was giving people books that I just had read that was powerful to me. And then I start having conversation with somebody like, you know what? Read that and then hit me up and we'll talk about, and this is other people's, like I would just give, because I've always been into books. So, when I know people don't read and they don't see the value of buying a book, but they interested in some type of information, sometimes I might just gamble on you and give you a book. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, most of our books are $20, $30, $40. You know what I'm saying? So we can't really be out there like the Jehovah's Witness folks giving away books that's 40. Like, that's insane. You know what I'm saying? So we have a book that's $6, right? That you can go over a couple of times and you'll have. And what I'm working on right now. Right now, I'm working on a teacher's edition of this book. So this book here is going to be, like, boom, you could just let that book go. Like, I'm not saying buy a bunch of these books and pass them out, because you're going to wind up giving away 9 out of 10 books to people who's not interested in reading the book, wasting your money and time. No. Have 1 book on you or 2 books on you and have the conversation with people. And when you find somebody where y'all get into the vibe and y'all having a conversation, keep that book. I got another one at the house. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it. Keep that. You know what I'm saying? But get back with me and we can keep building. And that's how you build your circle. Because that's what we want to do. What we want to do is build up in the different places where you are. We want to build up 20, 30, 50 people where you are, so that it makes sense for me to come to Texas, or it makes sense for me to come to Florida, or it makes sense for me to come to Cali, or wherever you are. And, we put our presentation together. But that's what I want to do in my next phase of traveling to do lectures. Because I am going to get back out on the road, but I don't want to do it like, and I probably can, not probably, I know that I can. We can promote put out some flyers, let folks know, sell some tickets at the door. Like we can do it old school lecture style, but I don't want to do that. I kind of want to do like an insiders thing. You know what I'm saying? I want to do like an insiders thing. So I really want to have people that are seasoned, that are studying, that are a part of our collective. You know what I'm saying? So even if we open the doors to the public, I still want to know that when I come to Florida or North Carolina or wherever you are, Ohio or wherever, Chicago, wherever you at, that there's 20, 50, 60, like there's a group of people that are actively studying together, not just studying, actively studying together. Like y'all all have each other's contact information so that when we put something together, we're putting something together as a collective. And, you know, like that's what this next 12 months is. That's why the book is called Fishers of Men. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the phase we need to be in. We need to be in the building phase, right? Thus far, we've been in the raw material phase, right? We've been collecting our raw material, putting our blueprint together, right? Drawing up the blueprint of the trestle board, right? Getting our wood, our bricks, our tools, you know, sheetrock, whatever we need to build our edifice. Now, the next phase, we need to start construction, right? We need to start construction, and that's how construction begins. Let's go. Amber Glow with the W. Amber Glow with the W. Super chat. Let's build. Yeah. And you the person that gotta bring it to them. You know what I'm saying? You the person that gotta bring it to them. So you gotta bring it to the Latino community, and you gotta get it so popping. Hopefully, it's Texas transparency because you in Texas, right? But you got to get it so popping. This is the challenge I'm making to you. How about that? This is the challenge I'm making personally to you. Yeah, I'm calling folks out. This is the challenge I'm making personally to you. You got to get it so popping in Texas that I personally have to brush up on my Spanish. So I can come to Texas and address people in Spanish. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't mind. That just gives me a reason to study. You know what I'm saying? It gives me a reason to study. I still got some broken Spanglish. You know, I got some broken Spanglish back in the recesses of my mind from the Bronx. You know what I'm saying? So it's nothing for me to pull some of that out and brush up some dígame, you know. Yeah, I can brush up some Spanish. It's in there. I got some neural networks that's already formed that's withering down because I haven't used it in, decades, but yeah, I can put it back together. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Double liking the video. Double like cheating. Let's double liking the two names. Double like, come on, let's get the video out one way or another. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's what we got to do. You know, wherever you at, if you in New York, we don't want to just come to New York for conscious community. We don't want to just come to New York for health community or vegan community. Like that's not what we're trying to do. We want to come for inspiration. You know what I'm saying? We want to have our people. If we open the doors, like Christians do an event, it's Christians at that event. Now, you got people that might not be Christian, also welcome to participate, but that's Christians there. If the Muslim folks do a Juma or whatever they're doing, that's Muslim people at that event. Now, they might open the doors for other people in the community to participate. You understand what I'm saying? But so what we need to be having is our events, and we have to build it up that way, because we might have 500 or 1,000 people on the internet, but that doesn't, internet numbers don't break down to real life because everybody's scattered. You know what I'm saying? Some of these people is watching that's not even in this country. You know what I'm saying? Like, so everybody's scattered. We have to build up numbers in wherever you at. We got to build up numbers around you. So, you know, it'd be good if you can find yourself a hub. That'll help. You don't need one, but because it'll come by itself sooner or later. But if you have a place that you hang out, like a bar, a library, a bookstore, a smoothie bar, a gas station, or I don't know where people hang out. But if you have a place that you already hang out, that might be good to rock out right there. Yeah, because this is not the tiny thing where they be like, well, you don't ish where you eat. With this, you absolutely ish where you eat. You know what I'm saying? Because those were the people you care about. And that's what we're doing. We're teaching love. We're teaching self-love, and we're teaching how to love our loved ones. That's technically what we're doing. So that's absolutely, you want to start at ground zero. You know what I'm saying? Double liking is a vibe. We done went crazy. M4 done started up the double liking. We done created a thing now. Yeah, let's go using second and third channels. Let's go. Let's cheat. Listen. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying to win. Yeah, see, that's what listen. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to do. We got to hit the black radio plug for TSU. And it's very simple. It's very simple because everybody's stealing the drip. So these people, everybody that's stealing the drip, they don't really know that they're doing the promo for us, because we live in a digital world with a digital footprint. So when we come along, we're the original. They'd be like, oh, I heard about something like that from such and such. Yeah, but you just, that sounds good. We appreciate that. That's a little, that's dope. We don't want to take away nothing from whoever, whatever, but this the original. yeah, we create the mold. You know what I'm saying? We create the mold. So we can share some nuanced, information that can help accelerate whatever people already have going on. And that's how we want to approach it. We're not specific to, we like open AI. In fact, that's, we're open AI, but not artificial intelligence. We're open ancient intelligence. Yeah, we're open ancient intelligence. We're for everybody. Yeah, we're for everybody. Yeah, the Committee U original. Who do I like old school before C-Bum? The GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Ronnie Coleman was the GOAT. Yeah, Ronnie Coleman was the GOAT. That was Ron. In his time, he looked like a superhero. Like, he was the closest thing to a superhero. You know what I'm saying? He was the closest thing to a superhero. But you just knew that it was a lot of drugs going on, because it just was no way humanly possible. He was defying the laws of physics with his body, which is the reason why he paid such a heavy cost. You know what I'm saying? But he deserves to be the GOAT because he traded his life and his health to be able to go to that level that he went to. So he deserves to be, he deserves to be called the GOAT. But I like C-Bum because C-Bum is very humble, and he used social media to add to, something that the old school bodybuilders, but I watched Pumping Iron. Like, I watched all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I watched all that stuff. Yeah, so I was a fan of Arnold, even though Arnold ripped off the black guy. I forgot what his name is. Surge, I think his name was. Yeah, Surge was better than Arnold. But Arnold, you know, I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it. Arnold was way more marketable from a business standpoint. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the world was ready for a black Mr. Olympia at that time. You know, but I think Surge paved the way for Lee Haney and Ronnie Coleman. I don't think there would have been a Lee Haney and a Ronnie Coleman without Surge. And I hope I'm not butchering his name. But yeah, he was like a black Brazilian dude or South American dude or something. His body was crazy. But yeah, I was around. I was a little guy watching all that stuff. So we done got totally off subject. I don't even know if we can get back on subject. It started with the bread. We wound up spending like 30 minutes talking about bread and yeast and right. But I had questions, man. I may have to just do a whole nother live to get into the books, because I'd be wanting the lives on the books to kind of be like focused. But here's what I will say. Right, we'll get back into it. Maybe tomorrow we'll just go science heavy. Because I miss y'all. I haven't went live in a minute. You know, I'll be missing y'all. You know what I'm saying? Even though we like on the internet, I be feeling like y'all inside my house when we be having these conversations. Maybe I'm hallucinating, you know what I'm saying? But we have grown to be like family. You know what I'm saying? So I be missing y'all sometimes. But one of the things, so with the Rich Abs books, let me say this. It's been a process, right? And one of the things that's happened over time is that people that I love and people I have a lot of respect for, I want to make sure I say those things first. People that I love and have a lot of respect for. So I would never say their names or anything like that. Especially like men, you know, like some manly men. You know what I'm saying? Let me say that. Some manly men that rock heavy with me, that been with me, you know, like in real life. I've spent time with them, you know, got them through situations, transformed their bodies, loved ones, all kinds of stuff. Like, so I have people that follow me from real life stuff. Like they might have saw me online or heard about me and then like, yo, my wife got this or I got this or whatever the case may be. And we didn't battle that. And then like, once you transform somebody's life in real time, they with you forever. So my online folks are more intellectual, right? But my real life folks are different. So I have like manly, tough guys that follow me. That's like, yo, I love you. I'm with you. I'm by your side 1,000%, but it's just tough reading these books. It's tough reading these books. So with the rich, and I know what parts, you know, like for us that needs the science, like I be telling folks, don't think that reading these scientific journals is not tough for me. Like they're easier for me maybe than you, but only because I made it my business some time ago to start toughing it out. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, now it's to the point where it's kind of, I'm kind of fluent in that language, but only because I decided to tough it out at some point. But because of the concepts and the way we address things, we have to have the scientific validation. And I know that makes the books overall tougher to read and digest. So with the Rich Abs books, right? With the Rich Abs books, you know, starting with the codex and going, like, we've been creating our own scientific papers, right? We've been creating our own scientific papers. And it was something that, you know, I did before. You know, every so often I'll put out a paper like the one Jack Cruz and them trying to steal now, but the beauty is it's out there and it's dated. So as many people as they want, they could try to jump on the drip with the chemiluminescent, you know, blah, blah, blah. But the paper's out, the paper's dated. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing you could do. You know what I'm saying? You got to give me my props at some point. But yeah, so we're just creating our own white papers. Those are called white papers for people that don't know any better. Just in case you see in the book the term white paper. White paper is basically where you draw up your research and like the official, you know, abstract introduction. You know, maybe you throw some references on there, you know, MLS style, Chicago style, or whatever. Like they got specific ways they like references to be written and whatever. But so yeah, so we try to put, you know, one or two of those articles in the book. Some of them we don't, you know what I'm saying? Some of the Rich Abs joints we don't, but you know, we just having fun with them. You know, we got our movie format, because at some point that's on the table. I don't want people to think that I'm just playing with that, right? At some point, we need somebody to turn what we're doing into, you know, like we need some funding for the Rich Abs TV series or the movie series, you know what I'm saying? Because we got a whole universe, you know what I'm saying, that's growing. You know what I'm saying? So it's already scripted out. Like we already got the scripts. You know what I'm saying? Like we already got the scripts. So hey, you got to do whatever you got to do. You got to do whatever you got to do. Yeah, you got to do whatever you got to do. The sauna is the sauna's low-hanging fruit. The sauna's old school. Yeah, the sauna's low-hanging fruit. That's old school. So, but I guess, if you ask the question, no such thing as a bad question. So you could go on the surface level with the sauna, right? So the sauna helps you, anything that helps you sweat, right? Anything that helps you sweat is good for your lymphatic system and your fascia, right? Fascia, right? Tomato. But anything that gets you to sweat is good for your connective tissue and your lymphatic system, right? Because anything that causes you to do a lot of sweating in a short time period is going to force you to rehydrate, right? So that means you're going to push out a lot of dirty water or a lot of used water, and you're going to have to rehydrate with fresh water, right? So that's always a good thing, right? Downside to it is that, one of the beauties of Mom Atomics, right? One of the beauties of Mom Atomics is it helps people that sweat a lot, you know, because when you sweat, you lose more than water and you lose more than electrolytes. So it's not just like, oh, I add electrolyte powder. Like, no, you're losing way more in your sweat than just water and electrolytes, right? So you need to put everything back that you're losing, right? You need to put everything back you're losing. So, in fact, we talk about the science of sweat in one of the newer books. Like, we really go into the science of sweat very specifically in one of the newer books for that purpose. So there's that. There's definitely a cleansing, not detoxing. I'm careful not to say detoxing, but it's definitely like a cleansing effect. Now, a lot of old school people will say it's detoxing, and they go into sweat tents. That used to be a thing, back in the days, doing like the sweat tents and the hot, like. But that's not detoxing. That's not to say that there's not a lot of benefit to it, because I love saunas, but it's not detoxing. That's just the wrong word. But it's definitely a cleansing effect to it, right? Then you have the type of sauna that you're in, right? So heat alone, remember, heat is a form of light, right? So heat helps your body to structure water. So all of your body's water systems benefit from sauna. All of them benefit from sauna. Everything in your body that has to do with water benefits from sauna, from cerebral spinal fluid to the lymph in your ears, your eyes, everything, every water-based anything in your body benefits from a sauna. All of the mitochondria benefit from saunas. All of your mitochondria benefit from saunas. It's a full body benefit. So it's, saunas is amazing. Shout out to Peyton. Let's go. Peyton with the super Macho Man Randy Savage type super chat, the off the top rope. You know what I'm saying? The match is over with. The match is over type super chat off the top rope, right? But yeah, saunas are amazing. Saunas is a very low grade. Let me not say low grade. That might be the wrong terminology. Saunas are very popular, so they're slept on. It's an old school thing, and they're so everywhere. Like, you can get a $10 or $20 membership to a gym, and it has a sauna in there. And so because it's everywhere, we overlook it. We're looking for the new thing on TikTok, like eating roach poison, or, boric acid, like what? You know what I'm saying? But so our minds just looking for the new crazy thing, as opposed to the thing that's been working for 4,000 years. The thing that's been working, like, that's how my mind, like, I look for those types of things, like, because those are the things with the best, most impactful. Even they tend to have benefits that we don't even know about yet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the reasons they've been around so long, because each generation of people that has used it has found new benefits than the last generation. You know what I'm saying? And so saunas, and just a variety of ways of putting heat on the body has, it's so beneficial that, that's been around 4,000-5,000 years, 6,000 years, a variety of ways, whether you soaking in hot mineral waters or steam rooms or infrared saunas or whatever the case may be. And then infrared has a whole nother thing with how it activates pigments, you know, so infrared sauna is a whole nother level, even though sometimes it's not really a real infrared sauna. It's a heat sauna, but because heat and infrared are so close, they can call heat sauna infrared and woo-woo. But if you happen to be in a real infrared sauna, that's gonna like kick your body's production of melatonin into hyperdrive for a short period of time. Melatonin only lasts in your body for, you know, a certain like 30 minutes or 45 minutes or something crazy. So it's not a long time, but you know, that'll have a huge impact on you, you know, and, you know, like if you can get that going on in regular, you know, regular spurts. So yeah, sauna is legit. Yeah, sauna's legit. As long as you ain't doing nothing strange inside the sauna, you know, I see you done put brown. I don't know what I don't know what that. I don't know what you're doing with that right there. Yeah. As long as you know, I don't know what you're doing in the sauna. Like as long as you just sauna in the sauna, like just sauna in the sauna, you good. Like you start doing anything extra in the sauna, I don't know what, you know. Yeah. Yeah, I can't account for anything else that's going on in the sauna. Nah, yeah, the sauna is official, bro. The sauna is official. Saunas are official. Saunas are official. You gotta try to get to the gym, you know, respectfully, you gotta try to get to the gym at off hours to really enjoy like those type of facilities. Because if you get there during the main hours, the jacuzzi's packed, the sauna room look like a box of sardines. Like you going in the door, you could barely get in. You just barely able to close the door and stand right there. Then when one person want to come out, 20 people got to leave the sauna so they can make room to leave. Like it, you got to get to the sauna at an hour where it's enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? When people at work or people at school, you know, that's when you go to the sauna. When you could just sit in the sauna, chill, you know, depending on what type of sauna it is. If it's a dry sauna, you could take your phone in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you got to be able to, yeah, listen, I live this. That's the thing. I live this. So, I'm but depending on what city you're in, you go on to Google. And I'm not sure if they're Korean. I think they're Korean. But look up King Spa. Woo! Best place. You have so much fun in there. King Spa. If you close to a King Spa or one of their affiliate places, you will really enjoy yourself. I know they got a nice one in Texas. And you know, you could pay like $30 or something like that, and you go in there for a few hours, or you could pay like, I think it was like $70 or $80, and you could stay the whole night, like 12 hours overnight. They got every type of sauna in there. Every type of sauna is in there. The jacuzzis, the salt rooms, the hot rooms, the cold rooms, the massages, the scrub, you know, like everything you could think of. You know what I'm saying? If you marry, you know, you got girlfriend, boyfriend with it, like it's good for all of that. You know what I'm saying? Take the family with you. I done took my children to them places, you know what I'm saying? So they know what all of the types of saunas about, you know, like that's therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? Like those are vibes. And they got everything in there. So you could use the infrared, the dry saunas, the wet saunas, the hot, cold, whatever, like all that. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, see, the one down there in Houston is the best one because they got the water park. So they got like the water slides and all that. That one down there, I'm jealous. That's the only one I haven't been to. I've been to like every king spa in America except for that one. And that's the only one that got the water slides and all that in there. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, it's not just relieving pressure. It's very therapeutic. It's very therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should try to budget that in. Yeah, like in Detroit, it ain't really much of that popping. You know what I'm saying? But when I was on the road, I would make sure that I had stops in places like, especially Chicago. That was my favorite one to go to because I was always going to or through Chicago. And I made sure that I went. Even some nights I would not get a hotel. Like, I would just go to King Spa for the night. I don't need a hotel room. I'm going to stay in King Spa. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You might have to rewind the video a little bit. yeah, you might have to rewind the video about like 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, you might have to rewind the video about 20, 30 minutes. Yeah. Because we've been talking about saunas for a minute. But sauna is very therapeutic. It's good for everything in your body that has to do with water. Think about that. Just put it that way. Everything in your body that has to do with water, from your eyesight to your hearing, cerebral spinal fluid, mitochondria, everything benefits from spa. It's just spa has become a commercial thing. So the therapeutic value of spas has been phased out. And spa now refers to like women getting their nails done and getting a facial and goofballery. Let me not say goofballery, but it's just more the cosmetic and superficial stuff. Even though at King Spa, they also have that. So they do have that. You know what I'm saying? It starts at like $5. You can get the facials, and then it goes up to more expensive ones if you into that. You know what I'm saying? But they have literally everything is in there. They got food in there. So if you eat meat, they got that. Chinese stuff. If you on the vegetarian, the vegan, all fruit, they got every type of food you can think of in there. Like, it's you'll be all right. You'll have fun in there. Yeah, you'll have fun in there. You know, so it's not like you locked and you get in there and then you stuck. You got to eat fish or you got to eat General Tso's chicken or something weird. Like, you know, they got whatever. I used to go in there and I just eat watermelon all night. Yeah, I'll just go in there and have watermelon. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even have to mess with what's on the menu too tough. I just drink a lot of fluids and eat a lot of watermelon, a lot of fruit. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm in the spa, so in my mind, I'm fasting anyway. So that was my main thing in the spa, just fruit. And they always had watermelons with black seeds, to the point where I started asking them, like, are y'all putting these black seeds on here? Like, how y'all got watermelons with black seeds at all times of the year? And they was like, oh, no. That's because we grow our own. I was like, that was the right answer. That was the answer I was not expecting. But that was definitely the number one. That was the right answer. They grow their own stuff. Yeah. So that was tough. Adding goofballery to the vocab. Yeah, goofballery is definitely, you know what I'm saying? It replaces pure effery. You know what I'm saying? I needed a replacement for that. When I try to like stop saying so many cuss words, you know what I'm saying? I had to start replacing stuff. So goofballery replaces terms like that. Pure effery and stuff like that. Now you can, just, the goofballery. You just throw that right in there. Ease that right in there. Yeah, nobody care about that, Paul. Like, we got a black farmer right up the road. Nobody care about that. We ain't got no black farmers. No, Detroit, I ain't gonna lie. I just don't be bragging about Detroit. Detroit, Detroit, we got a lot of black everything in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? We got hood farmers. Yeah, it's hood farmers everywhere in Detroit. They done turned abandoned lots to farming in Detroit. So we got some folks doing some stuff. But it's Michigan. So we're limited by, it's Michigan weather. So we can't really, folks is doing what they can, but they still limited. It's Michigan. Yeah, it ain't that lower south, that mid southern. Yeah, it ain't that. We don't got that temperature. Saunas can eliminate toxins to an extent. Yeah, to an extent, saunas can eliminate toxins. It depends on where the toxins are. You know what I'm saying? But it's not miracle. Like folks might try to make it like some miracle. Like, it's not a miracle, So it's not going to clean your blood and all kinds of crazy, you know what I'm saying? But it does have a lot of benefits. It's very therapeutic. And anything that has to do with water is going to benefit. Anything that has to do with water, your connective tissues, your and then it depends on what else you got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go to a spa, right, you can add different things together to make the benefit more pronounced, right? So if you, for instance, you use the spa, hot, dry, whatever, mix it up, and you get a lot of, good sweat, hit the showers, hit a different one, get the good, and then maybe you get them to do a brush, a skin brush. You'd be surprised how much dead skin comes off your body, right? So if you get them to do the skin brush on top of using the saunas, like the impact is so. It's a variety of things that you can get from using the spa that can multiply the benefit of the saunas. You know what I'm saying? So if we're just talking about the saunas in the gym, we're limited to whatever the gym offers us. You know what I'm saying? But you can get busy in your bathroom. You can get busy in your bathroom. You can go to Amazon right now. This is what I'm saying, because I have them. You can go to Amazon right now. It's $30. Yeah, about $30. And you can get the lights. Hold up. Let me see what they got. Let me see what they got. Let me see something. Infrared. No, not book. Yeah. Yeah, these is cheap. Look at these. Look at these. You can get these right here. Look at this. This is a 4-pack for $25. Well, actually, no. This is because I got Prime. So this is a Prime deal. But normally the full price is $33 for this. This right here is one bulb for $40. Right? So you can get you some bulbs and get busy at the house. Right? Here go one bulb, normally $22. Right? This is a set of two, normally $22. I think this is a fake out. I wouldn't mess with nothing like this. Right? But yeah, like these right here, $25, $22. Yeah. I wouldn't mess with these. Right? But these like this, yeah. Now this is slightly different. This is for red light therapy. You know, but look at these right here. You can get these. You can do this at your house. And you just get the stand. The stand is like 30 or 40 bucks. And you could put that in your bathroom. You just don't put it next to the water. You know what I'm saying? But put it on the one side of your bathroom. Fill up the tub. Nice hot, you know what I'm saying? Nice hot bath. Put that on you. You'll be cooking in that bathroom in no time. Yeah. You'll get you some heat and some infrared in no time at the house, right? So there's, we don't even have to go anywhere, right? The cost of spending one night at the spa, you can set up your whole little program at the house. Is hot yoga a similar benefit? Hot yoga. See, that's why people trolling in the chat. We start seeing chakras and all kind of stuff pop up in there. But, in all honesty, hot yoga, I'm a fan of hot yoga. I'm not a fan of the guy who started hot yoga and what he did with hot yoga and any of those things. If you don't know, I'm not even going to tell you about it now. I wrote about it in one of the books, but we'll just say he was definitely Scammy Davis Jr. with it, right? But yeah, yoga in and of itself is a good thing, and heat is a good thing. So putting yoga and heat together is a good thing, Some of the places that I've been have been like a little overly competitive, so they produce a lot of injuries, right? Because they try to use people's competitive nature to drive them to push further with the stretches and certain things like that. And they're not really qualified coaches, even though they may have spent time learning the Bikram yoga or the hot yoga program. They haven't really been certified in any system of human coaching or whatever the case may be. So, they you buyer beware kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Don't let anybody push you past your limits. But yeah, getting a good sweat on and stretching and working the tendons and the ligaments and all that stuff is absolutely good. It's absolutely good. But you got to be careful mixing those things up with exercise. I learned that the hard way. You got to be very careful with mixing hot yoga and exercise because you're stretching the muscle fibers. You're literally stretching the muscle fibers. So you have to be careful that because some people get into a pocket where they might go work out on Monday and go do yoga on Tuesday. That's kind of that's not a good thing to do. When you do that yoga thing, you need to give your body a day or two to recoup and then go do your workout, because you putting two drastically different types of demands on your body, which are both beneficial, but they both need their space. You don't want to mix those up. You want to make sure you thoroughly recover from one before you do the other. Yeah, see, this done turned into like question of the day. Yeah, I can't mix no books into this because we didn't went into Q&A. It's more like Q&A than anything else. But yeah, the yoga is legit. Yeah, the yoga is legit. Hot yoga is dope. You know what I'm saying? But keep in mind, you're not losing. That's another thing. The people don't be really educated that teach those classes. They know that system. They just know yoga and they know how to take you through the yoga program, but they don't know anything else usually. So be mindful that they like, oh yeah, you're gonna burn fat and blah 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 blah. First of all, we know that there's no such thing as burning fat. But even in the euphemistic sense, you don't burn fat during hot yoga. You know, you using up the sugar, you know, sugars in your blood. You don't really get to burning fat, quote unquote, right? You don't get to metabolizing fat, converting fat, you know, into sugar and electricity um, until you like 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours in. And typically those yoga sessions are way shorter than that. They're way shorter than that because most people can't even stay hydrated long enough to complete anything longer than that. So, yeah, it's not really a thing that you want to incorporate thinking you're going to lose a bunch of weight that way. That's not it. Any weight that you lose from doing hot yoga is based on like water. That's water weight, like a boxer. You know, boxers are able to lose 5, 10, 20 pounds like that. But when they rehydrate, the weight coming back on because it's not real. It's not bone, it's not fat, it's not muscle that they're losing. It's just water. They're just pulling water out the system by sweating. You know, and your body has a lot of water. So you can manipulate your weight in the short term with sweat. But they will sell it and package it to people as if these are long-term changes, and they're not. You know, but still beneficial. Still very beneficial for the joints and the ligaments and just, yeah, I definitely recommend it, but cautiously, I recommend it. But yeah, I'm getting ready to pull off this marathon though. It's not even a real marathon because, like I said, it's just gonna be me and probably Chase. But I'm doing it for the team. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing it for the team. Yeah, we're gonna see if we can get. You know, we're gonna try to get 26. So here's my goal. Here's how I want to do it. Right, especially since we just walking. And the Google thing said it's going to take 5 hours to walk 13.1 miles. Yeah. It says it's going to take 5 hours to walk 13.1 miles. I don't think it's going to take me 5 hours to walk 13 miles because typically it might take me 40. It might take me an hour and some change to do 5 miles. You know what I'm saying? It might take me an hour and change to do 5 miles. So even if it took me 2 hours to do 5 miles, that's still 4 hours is 10 miles. You know what I'm saying? So 20 miles, 8 hours, you know, but that's with me not being focused on trying to actually do it. You know what I'm saying? So what I plan on doing is a mixture of walking, power walking, and, you know, like every so often, you know what I'm saying, like a song might come on, you know, like Drake just dropped something. So, you know, when the certain songs come on, you know what I'm saying, you get that extra little, yeah. Let's go. You know, what did I miss with that one? Yeah, I got that in the playlist. You know what I'm saying? So when that come on, I might kick into a little yeah. That might kick me into a next little high gear. You know what I'm saying? I might. So, but my intention is to live stream the entire thing so that nobody, you know, like, so we're not frauding, and to have my phone or try to hook up a watch, you know, where I could track what I got going on on my watch or my phone, you know what I'm saying? And then that way, or maybe I might Google map it, whatever, ahead of time. But my idea is to just go 13.1 miles in one direction and then bust a U-turn. So that'd be 26.2 miles round trip. And that'll be equivalent to a marathon. And I'll just be competing with myself. You know what I'm saying? I'll be competing with myself. But that way, you know, for the inspiration, you know what I'm saying, for the gang, you know what I'm saying? Like we get one in for the gang, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we get one in for the gang, you know, just go out on the crazy mission. Yeah, you know, and then that'll inspire folks to try to do, you know, you might try to do your, you know, yeah, you try to do yours. You know what I'm saying? Or at least be inspired to get your little 60 and 60 in. Like, come on. EnQi could get these old bones up and down for 20 miles, you know. Even if I only do 15. You see, I try to put the disclaimers in. I might get to like 15 miles and call an Uber. Listen, I might get to 10 or 15 miles and call an Uber to take me back home. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'll be on the live stream, so, you know, y'all will see it. Especially if y'all get up early in the morning. Because that's what that's ideally, that's what I want to do. Ideally, you know, whatever day we go out to do it, I want to leave and try to do it like 3, 4 in the morning. So ain't nobody out. You know, we on the grind. Boo boo. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, now I probably throw some coconut water in my bag. You know what I'm saying? Get a couple coconut waters and carry them in my bag. So that way we had a potassium, you know, we had some potassium, you know, and then I'll probably drop some drops. I'm gonna drop a few little drops in there before we leave the house, you know, set it up, put a little mama tonics in each joint, yeah. It's gonna be, you know. So when y'all see me pull out the coconut waters might have a little greenish tint to it or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're gonna definitely have some stuff. Yeah, we're gonna definitely have some stuff. Cause other than that, we're gonna start muscle spasms, and you know, like we're gonna start having muscle spasms and all kind of crazy stuff. You know, so to avoid that, you know, we definitely need to we're gonna definitely need some goodies. And then I'm assuming that's why I gotta map it out. I gotta see what's along the way, like stores. Because I'm thinking by the time, you know, like if we go to downtown Detroit, depending on what direction we go, we might pass by some healthy spots where we could grab some coconut waters or some, you know, maybe a quick smoothie or juice or something, like call it in. So by the time we get there, we could just pay for it, grab it, and you know what I'm saying? Like whatever, you know what I'm saying? So I got to figure it out, but we definitely doing it. Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I definitely don't want to do. Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm not playing. I told Chase, listen, at the first sign of trouble, we catching an Uber back to the house. We not even. So I might get 5 miles. I might not even get 10 miles. I might get like 3 miles in and Uber back to the house. Like, yo, yeah, I can't listen. I got so many people depend on me and be out there getting injured. You know what I'm saying? So, but no, I think I'm gonna be good. That's why I told people to send me some cash apps. Send me some cash apps in case, you know, because I might have to get some different. I might have to get some different sneakers. I might have to give me some more expensive sneakers to really be out there in the streets like that. I might have to give me some. Well, I got some expensive. I ain't gonna say expensive socks, but I got me some socks for circulation. You know, I got some decent socks. Listen, none of this stuff means anything, you know what I'm saying, until you trying to do something. You know what I'm saying? That's when socks, you know, what type of socks you got, or like all of this stuff becomes a thing. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I got some decent socks, and I got some decent sneakers, but I don't know. I'm on the fence with my sneakers. I got some decent sneakers. I definitely got some good socks though. Yeah, and then if I pull it off, that's the thing. If I pull it off, I know my feet gonna be crying. Yeah, my feet gonna be like, bruh, it's gonna be a wrap. It's gonna be man down for a couple. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it's gonna be man down for a couple. It's definitely gonna be cold tubbing it. It's gonna definitely be cold tubbing it. Yeah, it's gonna be cold tubbing it. You know what I'm saying? So, but nah, we definitely going out on the attempt. We going on the attempt. Period. We getting gangster with it. Yeah, we definitely getting gangster with it. We gonna pull it off. Yeah, just do it. DRI. I thought that said just do it, but yeah, I don't. Yeah, maybe you might have meant to type just do it, but no, we gonna definitely get out there. Yeah. Well, the lots of water. Listen, to be honest, that's gonna be like the day before. Yeah, the day before. A lot of water, a lot of sugar. You know what I'm saying? A lot of water, a lot of sugar. A lot of water, a lot of sugar. Yeah, that's the thing. You want to have a lot of sugar in your system. A lot of water, a lot of sugar. So, yeah, we on it. Get out there, act a fool. Get out there, act a fool, and just keep your pace. You know what I'm saying? See, Paul, you got jokes. But I'm gonna be on the live stream. So y'all gonna listen, this ain't gonna be a private mission that I tell y'all about afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if something happened bad to me, y'all gonna be there when it happened. Oh my God, you better hold it down. You better protect me, because this is inspiration. So, you know, I got God on my side. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, for better or for worse, I'm gonna be live, you know, most of the time. You know, there's some spots there's blackouts of internet. So it'll go off for that. Then, like I said, there's gonna be a couple of spots where I try to jog and I'll turn off the phone for that. But primarily, all of the walking that I do, I will be live for that. So I'll probably go off and on the live. You know what I'm saying? I'll probably go off and on the live for the whole, like, I don't know, 8 hours or whatever the case, however long it takes. Yeah. It's definitely gonna be live. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be live the whole time. You know what I'm saying? You know, for the most part anyway, it's gonna be live. Because we gotta have the footage. Like, it don't count if you don't got the footage. If that's the case, I could tell y'all I did 26 miles yesterday. Yeah, I did 26. I did 37 miles last night. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could just make up anything. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could just make up anything. You know what I'm saying? But if you do it on the live, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know, it is what it is. So we'll be documenting it. You know what I'm saying? I think that I'll be able to get at least half of it done, to be honest. I think I'll be able to get at least 10 to 15 miles before I have to tap out. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm prepared. I feel like I'm prepared and my body's prepared for 10 to 15 miles. Period. Like I think I'm good with that. Like no injuries, no super fatigue, like as long as I don't play myself and let Chase make me do something that I ain't supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Because Chase will like bully me into like running fast, and if I do that, I'm gonna hurt myself, probably for sure. But as long as I ignore his 16-year-old foolishness, you know what I'm saying, and I just stay focused, like, bro, you up there, you walking, you know what I'm saying? When the music get me hype, I might kick it into a little heavy jog, I might get into a little jogging speed, but as long as I just keep it to that, I'm Gucci. Yeah, as long as I keep it to that, I'm Gucci for a good 10 or 15 miles. So I can guarantee that. As much as you can guarantee anything, I can guarantee I can get 10 to 15 miles. Yeah, I can get 10 to 15 miles. I'm good. I can get 10 to 15 miles. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking, now that's where I'm estimating that I could get the other 10 to 15 miles that I'm not prepared for, because I really don't have a scientific explanation for how I'm gonna get a full 25 miles in. I know I'm prepared for about 10 or 15 though. Yeah. I think God is gonna get me through God's gonna get me through. God is gonna get me through. You know what I'm saying? And then that'll be motivation, that'll be inspiration. You know what I'm saying? That'll be inspiration. Like, yo, we just watched EnQi do 15 miles we seen EnQi do 20 miles on the live stream. You know what I'm saying? He did a marathon all by himself. Oh, wait a minute. Now hold up now. This just got a little bit difficult. Because if I'm live streaming, I'm not playing my music. Me and music have an intimate relationship. Yeah, now that's going to take away from. I might have to cut y'all off a lot more than I planned. Yeah, because I'm going to have to turn off the live stream so I can turn on my music. That's going to have to happen. So yeah, I may live stream and talk to y'all until I may talk to y'all for 20, 30 minutes. Boop, clip that off. Go to my playlist. You know what I'm saying? Get focused. And then when I get tired, that's you know what? That's the new plan. That's the new plan. When I start up, talk to y'all a little bit, talk y'all to death, then hit the music and get going. Try to get some, some I ain't gonna say no mileage in, but try to get some good, get some good timing in. And then when I get tired and I need to slow down, flip back on the live stream, talk to y'all some more. Yeah. Talk y'all to death for a few. Like I'm good. I'm breathing. I'm hydrated. Okay. Same time. You good? I'm good. You good? I'm good. All right. Boom. I'm out. Whoop. And then we back to the music. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Because I didn't think that part through. That's my bad. I didn't think about that. Like, wait a minute. Like the lowest lane. Like you got me. Who's got you? You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm on the live stream, I'm not playing music. So yeah, we gotta do that. We gotta do that. Sidebar, did y'all see the new Superman? Y'all gotta see the Superman movie. Y'all gotta see the Superman movie. They attack Superman through his respiratory system. So they really, really got Osiris. Like they got Osiris out in the new Superman movie. They really went crazy with it. They got super Osiris out in the new Superman movie. Super Osiris style. Like they went crazy with it. But they definitely attacked his respiratory system. It was crazy. Yeah. He definitely had to battle with Set and Apophis and the whole, oh my goodness. They pulled out the whole comedic, you know what I'm saying? Like they went through the Dr. EnQi, they went through the whole comedic, the Legend of Wu Seer. They pulled out the whole program. Yeah. He had the battle of Apophis, he had the battle Set. It was crazy. It was crazy. Anubis was up in that joint, like a little fake Anubis. They went through the whole program. Yeah, they went through the whole program. They had the little fake Anubis in there. And it was good though. It was good. You know what I'm saying? As a person who was little when, Christopher Reeves, did his thing, I thought it was kind of dope, Chase, birthday weekend, Superman came out, his middle name is Christopher, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, Dad, what does Christopher have to do with Superman? I was like, never mind. Never mind. Just Superman is good. We're going to see Superman. Yeah. These young, they don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I believe that's why that accident might have happened to Christopher Reeves. You know what I'm saying? Because he might have started believing he was really Superman too. Like we really believed it that was a pretty believable. I was a very impressionable age when that came out. You know what I'm saying? So I think he might have, So we got to be careful that we don't believe, we can keep ourselves grounded. Pun intended. We can keep ourselves grounded. But the new Superman, definitely good, action packed all the way through. A lot of comedic themes. When I say the whole program, I'm talking about the underworld. Like, bruh. Like, I was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at Chase like, is this for real? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is this crazy? This is nuts. When I say the whole program, the writers didn't do anything but rape the pap. Like, that was whole program. But that's why, with Rich Abs, that's why we already movie ready. We scripting it out. We ready. Like, y'all need new stories to tell, and we got them. They need new stories to tell, and we got them. So, but look out for the teacher's edition. The teacher's edition is going to drop to the Covenant book. So you'll have the Covenant book, which you could break down and share with folks. Then you'll have then we have the dialogue. Let me see if I can pull up something from one of the books. Let me see if I can pull up something from one of the books where we can tap into something real quick. Let's see if we can go through. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. I think maybe that was here. Let's go here. We got that. Okay, here we go. We got a barbershop conversation. Right? We got a barbershop conversation. Let's see what we could do with some of this barbershop conversation. See, I was playing with something. I ain't even put it together yet. So it's right. Yeah, I was playing with this. I ain't even put this together yet. So Rich is in the barbershop, right? Rich is in the barbershop. Peace, family. And the barber says, "What's up, Rich? You trying to get cut?" Rich said, "Nah, I just want to ask y'all a question." So a dude in the barbershop chair says skeptically, "Here we go again." So Rich starts smiling. "Don't worry, I ain't selling sage or crypto. Let me just ask you this question. What's the cause of life?" The dude in the chair, "I don't know, God, fool." Rich says, let's say in the body, what organs keeps life going?" The dude getting cut says the stomach, and the barber starts shaking his head. "Come on, bro." So Rich, let out a little laugh, like, "No, it's the heart. No heartbeat, no breath, no brain, no nothing. No matter what you eat, if the heart stops, you gone. Now let's flip it. What's the number one cause of death in the USA?" Dude said cancer, violence. Rich said, "Nah, heart disease. Every 34 seconds, somebody dies from it. Not war, not overdose, but voltage collapse." The barber said, "Man, I didn't even know that." Rich said, "Most people don't, because they keep us chasing symptoms instead of the source. So now you know the heart is the gateway. Let me ask you the next question. How do you protect the heart?" So the dude in the chair says, "What, you go vegan?" Rich said, "Food matters, but that's not the control switch. The one thing that adjusts the heart in real time, second by second, is your breath." The barber said, "Talk to me." Your blood must stay at a 7.365 pH. If it drops or spikes, the heart malfunctions. And what controls the blood pH? It's not food and it's not pills. It's respiration, CO2 and O2 levels. That's it. So dude say, "You telling me breathing fixes your heart?" "I'm telling you, breathing runs your heart. It's the regulator of charge." Now let's flip the script. What does inspiration mean? Dude said, like, "What you mean, motivation?" See, they flipped it on you, but the real meaning, coming from the Latin root inspirare, means to breathe in. Inhale, inspiration, to draw spirit into the body. Wait, spirit is air? No, spirit is breath. No metaphor, no guessing. That's why we say spirituality is respiration, because when you breathe correctly, your blood aligns, your heart conducts, your mind clears. The waveform, your heart makes is called QRST. That's the real signature of life, Christ or Karas. Every beat, every breath, your posture, it's a biological prayer. Dude say, yo, I feel like I ain't know nothing until just right now. Nah, you knew, you just forgot. They ain't teach this in school. But the waveform never left you. Right? So stuff like that. You know, like we got a bunch of those types of dialogues. Now that's Rich in a barbershop, but we got dialogues with Rich talking to, you know, from barbershops to beauty salons to talking to children to police to firemen to ignorant KKK members, militant blacks, like every kind of dialogue you could think of, right? To help you better learn how to have these conversations with, you know what I'm saying, with folks. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what this is about now. Being fishers of men, being able to go out there. So that's something I'm working on. You see we got the little cartoon with Rich in the barbershop, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm put something, we put something together out here in these streets. Yeah. We put something together. So the books is out though. The books is out.
This is why you have to go to Amazon and get the book, Rich Abs, Poor Abs, now.